Amber Johnson always tried her best to make sure her son, Tyler, had special moments to remember. As a single, working mom, her time was limited, but whenever possible, she would plan small surprises so they could enjoy themselves together. Tyler was finishing 4th grade, and he'd been excelling in both academics and behavior. Amber was so proud of him, and the two decided to celebrate the end of the school year with a night out. Amber spent the day planning a special evening, and the idea of dinner by the lake seemed perfect. They'd never been to this restaurant before, but Amber had heard good things about it. The peaceful and elegant atmosphere sounded just right. She knew it wasn't the kind of place they usually went to, but she wanted to surprise Tyler and make this night unforgettable. Tyler, like any kid his age, was thrilled and curious. When his mom told him they'd be going out to eat somewhere nice, he couldn't hide his excitement. "Can I wear my basketball team shirt?" he asked with a big grin, already imagining the photos they'd take together that night. Amber looked at him and smiled, seeing no problem with it. After all, it was a summer evening, and she wanted Tyler to feel comfortable so he could enjoy himself. As they got ready, Amber dressed in something simple but elegant, and Tyler put on his favorite shirt and shorts. When he came downstairs, his hair neatly combed and a look of excitement on his face, she couldn't resist snapping a picture to capture the moment. "Ready, champ?" she asked, holding his hand, feeling a warmth of pride swell in her heart. Together, they headed to the restaurant. When they arrived, Amber and Tyler were greeted by a friendly hostess who led them to a waiting area at the entrance, where other families were also waiting. Amber noticed the sophisticated vibe of the place, the elegant decor, the soft lighting, and the gentle hum of conversation in the background. For Tyler, it was all new and fascinating. He looked around, taking in every detail, and Amber couldn't help but smile, watching him enjoy the experience. While they waited, Tyler noticed some kids nearby, dressed casually like him, some even wearing caps and sneakers. Amber felt relieved, thinking the place would be welcoming to families, especially kids. The smell of food in the air only heightened their anticipation. But soon, the hostess returned with a hesitant look. Amber didn't think much of it until the young woman explained that Tyler couldn't enter wearing that outfit, as the restaurant had a dress code. The joy on Tyler's face faded as Amber, surprised and taken aback, tried to understand the reason behind this restriction. Amber looked at her son, then back at the hostess, trying to process what she just heard. She took a deep breath, determined to speak up, because this night was about creating a beautiful memory for him. But as she considered how to respond, she noticed something unsettling. A child who looked similar to Tyler, wearing almost identical clothes, was already seated with his family at a nearby table. Amber looked at Tyler, who now appeared visibly uncomfortable, fidgeting with his shorts and glancing around with a confused expression. She tried to make sense of the situation. After all, there were other kids there, including one right nearby, dressed almost exactly like him. With a strained smile, Amber asked the hostess why Tyler couldn't enter, subtly gesturing toward the boy wearing a sporty shirt and shorts, who was dining peacefully with his family. The hostess seemed to hesitate, casting quick glances at the boy and then back at Amber, as if searching for an answer that would make sense. After a few moments of awkward silence, she murmured something about being stricter with the dress code recently. Amber, not wanting to escalate the situation, kept her tone polite but couldn't help but question why this strictness seemed to apply only to Tyler and not to the other boy. By now, some people nearby had started to notice what was going on. Amber saw a few curious glances turning their way, and Tyler, who had been beaming with excitement just minutes earlier, now avoided their gaze, clearly uncomfortable with the attention. Amber felt her heart sink. This wasn't the experience she had imagined for them. She'd planned a night to create happy memories, and instead, they were being subjected to a humiliating and bewildering situation. As Amber considered whether it was best to leave or keep trying to reason with them, the restaurant manager approached, summoned by the hostess. He seemed to have been briefed on the situation and began speaking in a neutral tone, repeating that the restaurant adhered to a dress code to maintain the ambience of the place. Amber interrupted with a calm but firm tone, saying that she understood the need for a dress code but was questioning why it seemed to be selectively applied. The manager, perhaps feeling the pressure of the onlookers or noticing the visible discomfort on Amber and Tyler's faces, offered to let them stay as an exception this time, but Amber felt there was something wrong with simply accepting that offer. The tone, the hesitant manner of the manager. It all felt as if they were being granted a favor rather than a right. She looked down at Tyler, who was now clutching her hand tightly, silently pleading to leave. He clearly no longer felt comfortable, and somehow, this place had lost the magic he'd imagined. Amber took a deep breath, looking the manager in the eye before calmly saying that she wouldn't accept being treated as an exception. That night was supposed to be about making Tyler feel special and valued, and she would not have him learn that, in order to fit in, he'd have to be tolerated in a place where he wasn't truly welcome. She thanked the manager with a light but firm smile, took Tyler's hand, and left the restaurant. Outside, Tyler looked at her, and even without saying a word, Amber knew he understood. They might have missed the dinner they had planned, but his dignity and self-respect were something he would never lose with her by his side. After that bitter night, Amber couldn't get the situation out of her mind. She replayed every detail. The hesitant look on the hostess's face, the vague excuse from the manager, and, most painfully, Tyler's discomfort. It felt like they had stolen the innocence of that special moment and turned it into a painful lesson. Amber's indignation went beyond how they had been treated. She knew that others had likely gone through similar experiences where discrimination hid behind the guise of rules and policies. After several sleepless nights, Amber decided to share the experience on social media. She didn't want to incite a direct attack on the restaurant, but rather spark a conversation about the impact of ambiguous rules and how they could be used to justify subtle discrimination. She posted a picture of the dinner Tyler had imagined, with a heartfelt caption about the importance of questioning unfair practices. The post quickly gained traction. Over the next few days, Amber was surprised by the response. Hundreds of comments poured in, showing support and sharing similar stories. Parents who had been through embarrassing situations with their children, often without understanding the real reason behind the restrictions. Others began calling out the restaurant, demanding explanations and a clear stance on what had happened. In a matter of hours, the story spread across social media, reaching people all over the country. Local journalists, and even some national outlets, reached out to Amber, eager to share her story. She hesitated at first, worried about exposing Tyler too much, but she also knew the incident deserved attention. After talking it over, Tyler, only 10 years old, said he understood how important this was and that if sharing their experience could help other families, he wanted to be part of that change. Moved by her son's bravery, Amber agreed to a few interviews, always emphasizing a message of respect and learning from what they had gone through. The public pressure was enough to prompt a response from the restaurant. In an official statement, the establishment apologized to Amber and Tyler, announcing that they were reviewing their dress code and service policies to prevent future misunderstandings. The apology, though late, was welcomed by some, while others still felt it lacked sincerity and transparency. But for Amber, the public apology wasn't the end of the story. What mattered most was the impact it had on Tyler. On the night of the incident, she had a serious conversation with him about self-respect and how no one had the right to make him feel unworthy or unwelcome. Tyler listened closely, taking in every word. The experience also taught Amber the importance of being prepared for these tough conversations, no matter how unexpected or difficult they might be. Seeing the effect the situation had on Tyler and his courage to stand by her side only strengthened her resolve to make the world a kinder and fairer place for him. In the days that followed, Amber and Tyler returned to their normal routines. The incident didn't fade away entirely, but it became a catalyst for discussions about dignity, respect, and empathy. Tyler still asked questions about what had happened, but now, he seemed to understand the lessons his mother was trying to teach him. And for Amber, her hope was that he would remember not just the embarrassment, but also the strength in standing up for what was right. That night, which was supposed to be just a simple celebration, had become a moment of growth for both of them. Amber knew they had made the right choice by speaking up. In the end, she felt proud of herself and, most of all, of Tyler. Together, they had turned a painful experience into a lesson of dignity and courage, taking one small step toward a more respectful future. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our emotional and inspiring stories. Thank you for watching and for your support.